The next step was to scale up the technology, and the Air Force was already working on a long-range stealth bomber. Called the B-2 Spirit, its design was informed by the positives and the negatives of the high-maintenance F-117. The Spirit doesn't need an army of Martians to prep it between flights. Instead, robots and a new radar-absorbent coating ensure a quick turnaround. Its unique shape is a throwback to earlier times.
One of the advantages of a flying wing is it's a very efficient airplane because it's nothing but a wing. It has very little drag, so as a result, it has very good long-range performance.
The B-2 has a 172-foot wingspan and can fly 6,000 miles without refueling. The flying wing's low drag means it can also carry very heavy and deadly payloads. The B-2's distinctive silhouette is a modern take on an old design that was ahead of its time. The original flying wing was designed as a proof of concept. An early but still working prototype lies in a dusty hangar at the Planes of Fame Museum in Chino, California. It was built in 1942 by a man who believed streamlining was the way to maximize efficiency. His name was Jack Northrop. Instead of a tail, Northrop devised an ingenious method of steering the plane. He created a set of clamshell flaps at the back of each wing. The pilot could open and close them one at a time. When a clamshell opened, it created drag above and below that wing, making the plane turn. In 1940, Jack Northrop's first prototype took to the air. The clamshells worked. He was convinced the flying wing would be the shape of the future.
The point of it was it demonstrated that you could actually have a flying wing that did not have a rudder and a vertical tail, and yet the plane could still fly quite safely.
When the Army Air Force saw the prototype fly, they thought it might be the answer to their search for a new long-range heavy bomber. But when the YB-49, a jet-powered experimental version of the flying wing, was tested, it displayed some disturbing characteristics.
It had problems in the sense that it was neutrally stable. It had a tendency to wallow somewhat, is the best way to put it directionally, because it didn't have a tail.
Just keeping the plane on an even keel demanded much of the pilot's time and effort.
The pilot had to damp out all these uncommanded motions. As a result, his workload was increased tremendously.
A system of gyroscopes helped keep the plane stable, but the wallowing problem could not be resolved. On June 5, 1948, disaster struck. During a test flight just north of Muroc Dry Lake in California, a flying wing crashed, killing the entire crew, including pilot Glenn Edwards. Edwards Air Force Base was later named in his honor. Edwards' name lives on. But at the time, it looked like Jack Northrop's flying wing would be relegated to the scrap heap. Until, that is, fly-by-wire and the flight computer provided the instant solution to the design's control problems.
You have gyros inside the airplane that sense when the airplane moves uncommanded without the pilot commanding it to move. And it automatically, without him taking any actions, moves the control surfaces in order to kill that motion.
With the development of the flight control computer, Northrop's design was resurrected in the shape of the B-2. The flying wing also had a built-in stealth advantage.
One of the things that was noticed during the testing of the YB-49, and it was just sort of as an afterthought, was it was very hard for the radars to see the flying wings. And they actually did do a flight test where they actually deliberately flew at a radar and said, okay, tell us when you see us. And it was surprisingly close to the radar before they actually saw them. But no one was particularly interested in that, and they just filed it away.
4 decades later, the Air Force was interested. The F-117 and B-2 were the first and second generations of stealths. The F-22 Raptor is the latest. It entered service in 2005 and is the first supersonic stealth fighter.